Well, I'm here with a local legend, Mr. Eric Santana today, and his beautiful hair.
Yeah. I brought my hair.
Eric.
It's a coonskin cap that I keep. I keep it under my bed normally, but sometimes I wear it.
That's awesome.
No water. No water.
So you're in a number of bands around town.
Yes.
Hexstein, Strange Coincidence, Flesh. Will Kiss Band. Is there anything you really do to really practice for these gigs? It seems like you're always busy and doing something. Anything that you've done over the years?
Basically learn all the songs, like cram them in like 2 weeks or something, and then I just kind of like keep going over them. Like most of the songs, if I know them, it's really easy for me to learn. If I don't know them, it takes me a second to kind of absorb the arrangement. That's about it, but I just keep doing that.
Keep plugging away.
But at this point, I've been playing with these other bands for a while, so I kind of know most of the songs. So we just learn like a new song here and there. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Pretty uneventful.
I live an uneventful musician life.
Well, I just learned somebody else's song.
And yay, I'm practice. But
I get to play music.
You play not only guitar, you play some lap steel.
I do.
Do you play dobro now as well?
No, not really.
Not really?
I used to have this crappy acoustic guitar a long time ago that I set up like a dobro because it was basically broken. Like somehow it fell. Like I came home and like the freaking neck was snapped off, and I was like kind of like, well, now this is a piece of crap. So like I just basically, fixed it. I glued it back together or something. I turned it to dobro. So I kind of had a dobro thing, but that's just kind of how I practiced slide at first, and then I don't play dobro though.
You don't play dobro?
No, I don't know.
You've been playing a lot of lap steel with some bands too.
Yeah. Not on my lap though.
Not on your lap.
Nope.
Sorry, it's pedal. Yeah, it's sort of like a pedal steel.
It's like a keyboard stand steel.
A keyboard stand steel.
Yeah.
The Gonzo Project. Who else did you play that with? Strange Coincidence.
With them, yeah.
Do you?
I play it with No, I never played with Hexting yet.
Oh, you haven't played with Hexting
Well, because I usually play with Hexting. I play. I started playing a synth bass.
Okay.
And like basically like sometimes it doesn't really need two guitars because Dave makes kind of a lot of like droney sounds and like really dreamy kind of stuff. And it kind of worked out better. Like I used to use a whammy pedal with my guitar, and I would get kind of a bass sound out of it, but it was kind of weird because it was like a guitar sound mixed in. It was kind of a weird thing. And I had this bass synth for a while and a foot controller, so if I play guitar with them, I play the bass with my feet. And then if I'm not playing guitar, which is kind of cool, sometimes I just put the guitar down and just like play the synth bass. And that's kind of actually more interesting because it's kind of like we have a bass player, and it's kind of neat because we get a different sound because it's Dave's guitar kind of leading everything then. Mm-hmm. So it's just, and it sounds more electronic. It's actually kind of cooler that way, but yeah.
It's talking about Hexting. It's a very unique group with David Kresge and Zach Martin.
Yes.
Trio, all instrumental, yes. Like you said, very dreamy, very out there sounds.
Yeah.
Do you guys even practice for that, or you just like go off the cuff?
I actually have a picture of me and Dave, like the first practice we ever did. And we're like, yeah, we should probably practice with this gig because I just booked a gig and I've always wanted to play with Dave. So we get these like random kind of, here you are, and here I am. We got guitars and we were just jam, and it was like really kind of dreamy, like post-rocky kind of stuff, like krautrock kind of stuff. And then finally I was like, yeah, we should just do something normal. And I was like, Porter's is always kind of like up for like, they always let me do something really weird there, like, and for some odd reason it works. So like, we decided we should practice before it, and then we kind of just played for like about like a couple hours, and we're like, we probably don't really need to practice this, we're just making this crap up because it's basically just improv.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of cool because before it was very like stream of consciousness, like kind of just reacting off of one little thing to the next, and then it kind of got into like, when Zach started playing with us, I started thinking more of song form kind of a thing. And I think that happened because Josh Klein played a couple gigs with us on drums. And I started thinking more like a song form. So I tried to like improvise a song form. So it was kind of interesting because basically if I started coming up with something I didn't really like, I would just have to like stick with it and make myself like it somehow. And sometimes it was cool, and it's funny too because like Zach is pretty good at it. If we're all kind of like at the agreement, like this is stupid, like this is a dumb one. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it like translates out into the front like it's stupid. Maybe it does. I hope it doesn't. But I think he'll just kind of push it and be like, all right, we're gonna like do this a couple more times, then we're just gonna end it, or we're gonna like try to get into something else. It's kind of, and we're all kind of like on a level there, so I think it kind of works out. But yeah, that's kind of how that band works.
Yeah, talking about levels, did you just like learn from different musicians that you play with over time?
Yeah.
How you get your skills? Did you have any formal teaching? You also teach students as well.
Yeah. Well, I teach. I mean, like when I first started playing guitar, all I did was like sing and play the guitar. Like I didn't really know how to play I could play like rhythm guitar and accompany myself.
We need
basically.
more Eric Santana singing in the scene, by the way.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Well, if I get some of my stuff out there, maybe we'll. But like, yeah. So that's all I knew how to do at first, and then I started playing with this dude, Nate, who was this like ridiculous drummer that I went to high school with. He was like, he played like, you know, he was like a year younger than me. I think I was like 17 or 16. He was like 15 or something like that. And he was like crazy. He could do like this Afro-Cuban stuff, and he could do like a clave on his left foot. And he was a lefty drummer, so it's kind of like interesting. And it's funny because I've played with like a million lefty drummers at this point, which is so bizarre. But anyhow, he was really good, and then he kind of was like really into like Fish and like the jam thing, and I was kind of more into like heavier stuff, like metal, which is kind of funny at the time. I mean, like before that, I was more into like the '60s like psychedelic stuff when I was like younger. And then for some reason I got into metal like in high school. Anyhow, so he was kind of trying to get me into Fish, and I thought Fish sounded like crap. I hated everything about them.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like the way their drums sounded. I didn't like the guitars. I thought their vocals sucked. And then for some odd reason, something happened, and I listened to it, and I was like, wait, this is freaking awesome. And I was like really into it. So something clicked, and then you know I'm jamming with this guy, and like all I knew how to do was write songs, and I would like kind of like play stuff. And I could kind of take like solos, like Hendrixy type things. And then I kind of realized they sucked because this guy was so good, and there was this bass player that was jamming. This guy, Steve Lawless was playing bass, or started playing bass around that time with us, and then we were, whatever. So basically, it turned into the fact that like they were better than me, so I had to like kind of be like, oh man, I suck. So I started taking lessons with this guy Jim, and he introduced me to like Mahavishnu Orchestra and all this cool stuff, and then. That only went around for a little bit, and then I started taking lessons with this guy Gus at the California Drum Shop. He was pretty awesome. He taught me a lot of theory stuff, and he took me to go see Prince. That was pretty awesome. And then, and that was about it. Then I took like random lessons, like when Steve Kimrock lived around here. I took some lessons from him, and it basically was just I hung out with him for like 3 hours in the barn, and we would just play around. I would just ask questions, and he would just kind of like. He's kind of like, his stuff is kind of like esoteric, so it's kind of interesting the way he like goes about stuff or thinks about stuff. So he was kind of interesting. And then, you know, and then I took a few lessons from some other people around here. Like I took a lesson from Mike Dugan, who's this guitar blues guy around here.
Yeah.
Just like whatever, just to kind of like get different people's views, you know. I even asked Chris McDermott to take lessons, but he was like,
ooh, McDermott versus Santana.
He thought it was insane, but I was like, come on. You know more shit than I do, so I was like.
Well, it's really like a learning process, and it seems like you really learn off different musicians in the scene. Yeah,
well, and just playing because like I played with Zach Martin since I was like 19.
Yeah,
and we would just be in his basement jamming for like hours,
like
all day. Like we would just have these practices, and it was just insane. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Zach's a very I know Zach very well, and he's a very technical drummer. Yeah. And you can tell even in his drumming.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was like he was like professional level.
Yeah.
When he was like 15, like you know. I mean, now he's just like insanely good, but like, you know, back then it was just funny because we would just jam forever, and we have like tapes of it, and we like listen to it, and we're kind of like, you know, this was like a really good thing that we did because for ourselves because like it kind of helps us. I mean, because you know, with the Flesh thing, we still jam because it's like a dead band basically.
Exactly.
And, you know, and Hexting, same thing. So like, you know, the improv thing. I think after knowing Nate, that kind of became part of what I did, I guess. I don't know.
So you were like comparing, and you said early on, you said you sort of quote unquote sucked because you didn't suck, but you know you.
Oh yeah, well no, I sucked.
Yeah, you just weren't
What was the point?
you weren't at a level that you really wanted to be at.
Yeah, well I was just self-taught.
Yeah.
So I just learned out of like listening and I don't even think I knew what the hell I mean I knew pentatonic scales, but I knew like one pattern.
Yeah.
And then I would just like figure out like other notes that worked and like my own like little shapes, which actually ultimately ended up being the rest of the scale because I have a pretty good ear of that stuff. But like you know, it was just I didn't really know any of it.
Are there any guitar players or even like pedal steel players that you listen to on a daily basis that you learn from?
Guitar players?
Or you have in the past? You were talking about Fish too.
Yeah, I used to really like Trey.
Yeah.
And I used to try to sound like Trey because I would get like I had like 2 tube screamers and like a hollow
Side
guitar.
note: would you do his O faces as well when you were practicing?
Yeah, and I would go.
That's great, man.
And I had a whammy pedal and everything was like. No, but like really though, I used to really like his playing and I really like. It's funny. I really like John McLaughlin for like the longest time, and I think he's like insane. Like I just like really was into that kind of a thing. And then I don't know, like new guitar players. It's funny because I really like Ry Cooder and like
David Lindley.
What's up?
David Lindley.
I really like David Lindley, and I really like this new guy. Well, he's not really new anymore, but like this guy Blake Mills. He's like the younger guy, but he's kind of like Ry Cooder-ish. Like but his guitar playing is just kind of really, it's really nice. And it's just like kind of more rootsy. I like pedal steel players. I really like Buddy Emmons, like old lap steel players. I like a Speedy West. I like Telly players, like Roy Buchanan. Like I guess I like a lot of older guitar players. I'm trying to think of like newer guitar players I like. I mean Derek Trucks, Jimmy Herring. I mean Steve Kimmott. I like Steve Kimmott's playing a lot. I like Mike Lorenz's playing. He's a local player. He's really fucking awesome actually. He's a jazz player. I don't get to see him enough though because he plays the same nights I play.
What if you could, in 2 or 3 sentences, maybe. Excuse me, this question sucks. Never mind.
Oh, Robbie Seahag. I like his guitar playing.
Robbie Seahag?
New York.
Do I know him? Huh.
He's a jam right here.
Are there any venues, you mentioned Porter's earlier, any venues that you really enjoy playing around here? There's multiple venues.
Luke Farrakhan. I like his guitar.
The Groove Merchants. Are there any, talking about that, are there any bands that you really enjoy watching around the
here?
scene? That
I really like the Groove Merchants.
Yeah.
I like.
But you're always gigging as well.
Yeah.
So.
I like. I think he goes by William Travis.
Okay.
I like his stuff when I get to see him play. I like anything Zach does. Zach Martin.
Zach Barton.
I like Mike Lorenz when he plays with Mike Lorenz. I like when he plays with. Well, I like when he plays with Dan Chels, but I've never seen him play with Dan Chels.
Okay.
I've only heard the record, and I really like that. I think that sounds pretty awesome. I really like that I get to see around here. I'm trying to think of people that I get to see around here because I hardly get to see anyone play around here because I'm always playing when they're playing.
I like to play.
I like Woodsmoke because they do for a cover band. They do really
unique covers.
Yeah, unique covers. Yeah. Like they do Grizzly Bear. Like who the hell? Nobody covers Grizzly Bear.
Aaron Kinsman, Zach Martin, Dave Johnson.
You know what? I will say I liked the Talking Heads thing without the vocals.
Okay.
I actually thought that was way cooler than the regular thing.
Yeah.
But it sounded awesome. I thought that was really good. And that Brian.
Is there talking about that? Is there any?
Brian guy in guitar is really good.
Brian. Oh yeah.
Really good.
Is there anything you have to do differently going from a vocal band like Strange Coincidence to an instrumental band, for instance, like
I just put the guitar where the vocals would be. That's basically what I did.
There's nothing extra you need to do?
Well, yeah, not really. It's just basically like I'm kind of soloing all the time, but I try to think more vocally.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically like if I'm in with Strange Coincidence, because Rich is singing most of the time, I will basically, because I don't really play rhythm that much with that band. I play more like accents and things, so I try to like move around that. And I guess it's kind of like that with Flesh, sort of. But those are Grateful Dead tunes, so I have to play kind of parts. And then, trying to think. Yeah, I guess I play. So like, if I'm playing with Hexting, I'm kind of just like taking where the vocal would be, but I try to think vocally. Like I don't think like I'm gonna like play this crazy lick here or something like that. I don't really think that. I just kind of think that I'm singing, I'm trying to tell a story or something like that.
Gotcha.
You know.
One last question. How would you, from years ago when you think you were maybe a subpar player to now, how would you define your success over the years?
Well, I'm still a subpar player, but but I think I'm a
You're a birdie player.
I'm like a professional subpar player.
Okay.
And I think I got a lot better. I think my slide playing improved.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like more what I'm interested in.
Okay.
I think the guitar sounds better as a slide instrument. Sometimes I really think the guitar sounds like crap. I think it's like a shitty sounding instrument. Unless like you do like the kind of more like, you know, like sustainy lead thing, like singy style, or if you do like really sparkly big chords and like textural things, I really like it. But as like a rhythm instrument, I think it sounds horrible. Like I think it sounds really crappy. I like the way the guitar sounds. I like acoustic rhythm guitar. I think that sounds really pretty, and I think it really like kind of like makes a vibe happen. But I think electric rhythm guitar sometimes is really like, ugh, it's like really abrasive. So to me, I guess I focus a lot more on like the lead kind of like slide playing, but except for like funk rhythm guitar. I can't really say that because I really like Fela Kuti and I love the rhythm guitar sounds on that. But as like a rock rhythm thing, I think that sounds terrible for some reason.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just got some really weird biases when it comes to guitar, I guess.
Oh, it's all good. Here. So this is an interview with local musician Eric Santana. Appreciate your time, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I looked at your elbow.
Nice.
I don't know what that means, but I like how he froze and stared at me.